Hi Shikha,
Hi Aishi, how are you doing?
all good. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, so we are live and we'll just have, I think, Vimla and yeah,
Mla and Francis are going to join us.
yes, they are backstage, so they'll just be joining.
Yeah, I met Vimla on backstage. I didn't meet Francis.
No, yeah, we are almost. I had asked them to join by 6:30, so that this thing.
Yeah, it's at 6:30. They can come on actually.
Yeah, they can. I'll just drop a message.
Should I go backstage and tell them? No.
No, we have already dropped them a message. I think they should join. Let me just check. Yeah, they should be coming in. We'll just wait. Akhil, can you please check with them once? If they are backstage, they can just come. Yeah.
Hi Francis.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's the time there?
9 o'clock.
Ah, not that
A.M.
bad. Not bad. You're East EST, right?
Yes.
Awesome. You're not PST because that would have been like 6 o'clock in the morning for you.
But I had to be here with the smile.
Yeah, but a lot of people show up at 6 o'clock also, in the group, right?
Actually, Francis did join pretty early for the test.
That Francis will join at 3 o'clock in the morning if needed. Uh, at the night, she'll just get up and she'll just show up, and that's her. When she
Wonderful.
commits, she's right there. That's what I was telling her. Sleep. You can do the test a little later.
Yeah, we just did it. I think while we were doing this thing, Vimla, she was free. So I'm not sure what's wrong with Vimla because she was already backstage. She should be joining us because it is 6:32. Akhil, could you just check with Vimla once, please?
That's better.
Yeah, she'll just be joining Rishika. Meanwhile, you want to start, share something?
Yeah, you take over, introduce yourself with phone, and like this.
Yeah, by the time, yeah.
Yeah, let's take
Sure.
Francis on with the interview first, and then
Yes,
I'll take it
yes,
over.
yes. So a very, very good afternoon, good evening, everyone who has joined us today. And just to let everyone know again, we are now live on Vidphone and also on all our social media channels. So while we go live on Vidphone, we are simultaneously live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So a lot more people are watching us while we are having this conversation here than the people we see here. So, a very warm welcome to the Vidphone Show in collaboration with Mothers United Movement, led by Shikha, of course. And this is our eighth session where we are talking. We are yet again, we have two stellar moms, Frances Ruth and Vimla Sheshadri, will just be joining us to speak on moms who adopt. We are really excited to hear both your stories. Hello, Vimla. Welcome. We can't hear you, Vimla. Just check. Just do whatever you did that time. It should work. Yeah. So, yes, we are very happy to have you both. Thank you, Francis, for joining us so early in the morning. Thank you, Vimla, for taking out the time for this. And thanks, Shikha, for connecting us to these two amazing moms. So, again, why do we do this? Is because we really feel we want to provide our platform for moms to come and tell their stories their way. And who better than Shikha, who has been running such an amazing movement with moms all over the world. So we thought, why not collaborate and take this movement a step further? So we started this 12-week program. We have spoken to many amazing moms throughout this journey, and we hope to be speaking to many more and take it to the next level. So before I hand it over to Shikha and introduce Francis and Vimla today, I would just like to tell a little bit about Vidphone. So Vidphone, we are a hybrid work suite platform for all your customer generation needs and your employee management. So basically, we help you craft your entire customer journey from getting a lead to get turning them into a customer to, until customer success support, everything all in one platform. We have a set of video communication tools through which we achieve this, and also we have a few very interesting tools through which you can collaborate and manage your employees in the hybrid format that we are in today. So that's what we do at Vidphone, and obviously our live streaming platform that you can see right here. That is something we do. That is one of the features. And yes, so I'll just quickly go over to introducing both of you and then hand it over to Shikha. So Dr. Vimla Sheshadri is a leadership development facilitator and coach, an NLP trainer coach, licensed Heal Your Life workshop leader. Thank you, Vimla, once again for joining us. We are really excited to hear your story today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Perfect. Good.
Francis Rood is the founder and CEO of Rood Family and Life Coaching, motivational speaker, a poet, and an educator. Thank you so much, Francis, for agreeing to be a part of our show. We both are really excited. We all are really excited to hear your mom's story today. So, Shikha, over to you and obviously you know both Francis and Vimla, so we are expecting a lot of secrets about them from you also. Over to
All good secrets.
all
And
good
just,
secrets
they're both
always.
such incredibly inspiring women that only good will come out. All these good secrets are going to be out to the world so that they can amplify their work, and it's amazing. So, people who are going to be watching me live at different platforms, which is LinkedIn, everywhere, YouTube. I'm a founder of Mothers United Movement, photographer for 25 years. I'm just released a book called 100 Self-Portrait, 100 Dreams of Mothers Who Dared to Express, and started an initiative called MUM, which is Mothers United Movement. And now we also are a registered foundation under which we are going to be doing some work with mothers who need help. Not sure what, because I'm all about inspiration. Right now, I don't have the bandwidth because I'm a mom of two very young kids to really take big things on. Then I'm already taken. But Mothers United, the foundation would be working at the moment to inspire the mothers of today through work of art, films, whatever we can do, and take it to villages or wherever. And through what I know very well is storytelling and photography, we would be doing some work. So that's also now a new addition I'm going to start doing. Meanwhile, we're finishing the first day of the launch on 13th of November, which was a big launch for all of us. Moms from all over the world came. 40 of them were there, and 40 of them joined us virtually as well. And having said that, both these women um, I'm just in awe of how they operate, how they are. Vimla she says, I've not adopted 17 kids, but she has adopted, literally loved 17 children, and she's a guardian for them. But we will hear the whole story. We can't hear you, Vimla, still, you're muted. Yeah, so I don't know if it's more than 17. I'm sure since last time it might be more. And she will tell us how the house looked and how sometimes, like a mother, like all of us, she would break down, with overwhelm and other things, and also feel guilty. Why did she do what she do? So all these stories I heard when I interviewed her. And then there's no difference, right? There's no difference. If she's going through exactly the same emotions that all of us are going who birth these kids, there is no difference. And Frances is a teacher, and she has this beautiful boy who keeps popping in all the time. And he came in her life 7 years back, Francis, now.
About 7, yeah.
Yeah, 7 years back, and she has taken a step forward. And there's a beautiful story how she met him, how she fell in love with him, and how she, in spite of him having special needs, he was hers. He was hers from the time she fell in love, and now he's like all around her all the time. So Francis, before we even start the second question about adoption, why adoption, what did you do, and those beautiful stories, because stories is what that inspires, right? We don't want to give big yarn about why you should do it, this is an important thing. We just want to tell stories to for people to start getting inspired and saying, yeah, that's beautiful. And we must look at that also and support people who are doing that. But before that, what do you do, Francis, and what's your work like?
I am an, excuse me, I'm an infant educator. I work with parents of children from birth to 3 years of age, and I also work tutoring older children. And I'm a motivational speaker. I believe that my pathway is to help parents be proactive, not reactive.
Right. And you advocate, you advocate for parents who standing up for the children, and what's that all about?
I just, again, I believe that parents need to be proactive and not reactive. So therefore, I want to give them the resources they need in order to help them. Because we come up against a lot of things, whether we're a parent or not. But having that information at hand or knowing where to go to get that information is so important. So
Right.
it helps with that self-care, stress, all of those things.
Right. Francis, do you have something on? I think your voice is breaking a bit. Do you have a Bluetooth on? What is that? Ayushi, you're on mute.
I just think she's sitting a little far, maybe a little closer to the system. We can. It's just a little
Yeah, just pull the computer closer.
little closer. I think that's the
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
that's
And
better.
because she is a very modest human, she will just finish her sentences in 2 lines and just stop.
Uh-huh.
So I will pull out the story, and I'm good at that, because your story needs to be heard, and that much friendship I've built with her that I can pull that stories out. But I'll get back to you, Francis, on that. Nimla, what happened? What was it? What do you do? First of all, you're a life coach, and you're absolutely amazing to talk to on the phone. Very inspiring, very full of life. You're just like right there, helping everybody. So, life coaching. Just let's talk about your profession quickly, so that we can dive into stories, because I would love to hear your stories about.
Sure. So I've had lots of stories. But yeah, I my story as a life coach began when I decided that corporate life was enough. I was a single mom, 15 children. At that time, it was 10 only, but only I say. And I just did not want corporate life anymore. Didn't want that the pressure, didn't want pharma anymore. I'm from the pharma industry. And a very dear friend said, hey, why don't you just do training? Training led to coaching, coaching led to different types of coaching, but I really kind of have found my home with NLP life coaching to really be generative in helping people generate their future, generate what they want to create in their lives. And that's one of my favorite questions is what do you want to create today? And what makes whatever you're doing more possible? What can make it even more possible? So I love these questions. I've asked these questions to myself in various stages of my life. But yeah, so that's what I do. That's not who I am.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have my children who are going to keep they exactly when my shows go on, they have
Of
questions
course,
to ask, right?
that's why. Yeah, I was on mute
Yeah,
because yeah,
yeah.
life.
How many are still around? How many are still around?
Well, right now we're on vacation. I had five, three went back, two are with me right now.
Right,
And fortunately, one's an adult, and then I have my 12-year-old. So my
right,
kids range from age from 12 to 36. I have six grandchildren. And my work with children started, I mean, there's a huge story, but I moved from US to India in 2000.
right. And then
And so from Chicago to Chennai. It's one chapter of my book that's starting
Oh,
because that was a huge transition, right?
that's a nice name of the book also, Chicago to Chennai. What a
Yeah.
nice name of the book. Like, it would be a good name for the book as well. So, Francis, let's go on to you. Um, we see Jaden, a little baby crawling, and there you fall in love with him. What happened? Like, how did Jaden come in your life and became this jumping around monkey all the time? Like my kids, he just keeps coming in and going in and coming in, and all of us just keep like having that expression that stop, but don't stop, but like do something about it. Just stay out of the life for some time. So
Yeah.
that.
Oh, actually, I changed jobs in April of 2015. I went from one early intervention program to the next. So in May of 2015, I met him as on a home visit. I was his service coordinator and developmental specialist or educator. So that's how I met him. I still remember the day he was sitting on the floor, W sitting and flapping his arms, so excited to see me. And so I met him then, and I worked with him. And the foster family was going to adopt him. So they told me I could come visit him anytime after he left the program. And so he went into preschool. And it all worked out well because if it had happened before, it would have been a conflict of interest. But because he was in preschool, I found out that they had changed their minds and they weren't going to adopt him. So I went from here. When my supervisor told me they weren't going to adopt, I walked over to my desk, I picked up the phone, and I called the agency that was handling him, his case, and I told them that I wanted to adopt. Now, I was 45 and happily single. I was planning my 45th birthday to Paris. I'd had my life all planned out as far as that, but I didn't think twice. I called my dad. I talked to him. I called my brother and talked to him. They both were like, "If this is what you want to do, we'll support you." And so, because of the time of the year, they started the process really in January. And by June, he was probably Mother's Day. I remember it was Mother's Day weekend that I did supervised visits with him. And by Father's Day weekend, I was doing unsupervised visits with him. And so, yeah, so he's been mine ever since about the end of May. So, yeah.
Wow. And now I mean, I've seen him for now 2.5, 3 years now. I think knowing you for 2.5 years of this project, he keeps coming in and going and jumping
Oh, yeah.
around, gaining
He
height.
loves it when he sees that I'm on virtual and he's going to find a reason to come to peek in. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but he's, I got him when he was 3.5 because I remember we had his fourth birthday, a little cupcake. And he'll be 11 in November.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
growing taller. And it is a very hard question to ask always. And because I need to inspire many people to do this kind of step that you've taken. People do adopt, and we want to adopt, but we generally, people with special needs, and the kids who are at the adoption center with special needs, we don't take the courage to want to commit to the thing that is needed, right? The commitment that's needed. And that's what brought me, like when I looked at it, I was like, that's courage, because you really want this life to blossom, and no matter how and what will happen, I will take him all the way on the other side, just because I've fallen in love with him and his
Right.
little eyes and everything. And you're doing it every single day, and sometimes it gets tough. And to be able to take that conscious decision to get into the therapies, and there are extra things that you need to do. So let's inspire people to take more of this step. What made you not think even once that am I going to be able to do it alone? And will I be able to support him fully? Will I be able to do justice? How will I manage? What are the questions that came to your mind when, especially, somebody with special needs is taken on? In fact, I have a bonus mom in the book, and when she got married, she also got married to somebody who had a special needs daughter who was already 48, and she literally takes care of her day and night like her own child. And I just see the love she has person, and she's just like, this is my daughter, and last 20 years she's been dedicated. That's Elizabeth in the book, who's doing that. And it really takes a commitment to commit to something like that, because you know the support is forever, probably till the time you're existing. We need to support this in some or the other way. Even if they become independent, there will always be an eye on them. So what were the fears, and what can we tell the world that not to think about when you're doing a step like that, so that more of this happens?
For me, it was I already had a circle of support, knowing that even though I'm a single mom, I have people around me to help. And again, I fell in love with it. I work with families with children with different needs all the time. You don't not love somebody because they're different. And so it never even occurred to me. Because when I got him, he didn't even talk, but he said a few words, but his facial expression said it all. And so I guess it was just the fact that I fell in love. And I always say, too, I got the chance to choose my family. A lot of times we don't get the choice or chance to do that. And that's going to be my TED Talk, adoption, the family I chose. And I'm very blessed with that. And the joy he gives me is, it's like, it's just so overwhelming because I see the progress he's made, and people give me credit for it. But I also go back to my community of support, and it hasn't always been easy. I know at one time in potty training, I remember looking at him and I was like, "Oh, back to therapy," and so I had to go back to therapy because I needed that type of support. Because it's not always easy. But I guess too, having that open mind and being willing to take on something that's going to bring you joy. So yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I just was looking at your eyes. I'm a photographer. I look at eyes and I look at this thing. So when you were saying I fall in love with him, it was just. I remember also the Secrets has to be out. So she was in a mastermind with me, in a group, and the first time Jaden had gone for sleepover, Francis was crying. Has he actually grown up? That he's actually gone to a play date? I don't think so. I can attend the call today because I'm very emotional that he's gone to a sleepover and this is the first time. And I just looked at her that it's all the same, the love, the nurture, the thing. We just keep putting the shades of mothers. This is the real mother, or this is not. And but it's all the same, because once you connected and you fall in love, you just fall in love. And that's what, when things are not working out, sometimes you just need to know how to be connected and just bring the connection back with the child, and it happens. So let's take it over to Vimla. Thanks. I will come back to you, Francis, but Vimla, let's take it to you. Like, how did it start, and how did it become not 17? I thought after I interviewed you must have gone 3 4 more added to your family, but how did it go to 15, and what happened, and how did it start?
Yeah, so my journey is India, US, India, born in India, raised in the US, came back to India, but my story is a little different. It wasn't so much that can I manage, it's what can I do to serve? And my dedication was to children, any shape, any size. At that point, when I first started, any country, India opened her doors to me and offered me free property in 2000, and I moved in 2000 from the US, and I landed here, believe it or not, on August 15th, and India's Independence Day. So it was for me a sign that this is where I was going to dedicate my life. So when my first child came to me, I specifically was looking. I was looking for children who were disadvantaged, either physically, economically, educationally. Something was stopping them from being their full potential. And my first child had polio. My second child was child of severe abuse. My third child was again a child who had cerebral palsy. So these are my first three kids that came to me, and I prayed for them. I wanted them. I looked for them. I wasn't looking for um I was looking like exactly like what Francis says. I was creating my own family and a family for these children also. And prior to this, I had experience working in an orphanage um, in India. And when you have 50 children, 100 children in a space, they're brothers and sisters, but they're not family. There's a difference because then they leave at 12, they leave, and they're still connected, but it's more like school friends. Whereas a family, and this is something that the girls told me from that home, was have a family. You be the mom. You don't just leave and leave it to, wardens and all this. And that was a huge ask for me. And I'm like, ooh, am I ready? And then I said, it wasn't so much, am I ready? He said, when am I ready? And I waited and prayed and, allowed this to come to me. Out of my 15 children, five have, are differently, I think all of them are differently challenged. But five have physical challenges where we have to like take like steps to make sure that the world around them, that they're safe. Divya, who's with me right now, 32 years old now, we're celebrating 20 years together. And she's in a wheelchair, and we are traveling in Punjab, Haryana, in the north part of India. And she couldn't get into the Golden Temple, because it was super crowded and they couldn't bring the wheelchair in because people would not, they don't have the accommodations for it. Had there not been a crowd, possibly, but the crowd was like 5,000 people. And when we were escorted in by army, and there's like, no, you'll stay here. They'll go in, and this happens a lot for her. And I have to make sure that she's okay. I have to make sure when she was younger, it's okay. Now she's kind of used to it, but it still hurts. We still don't have that mindset. As a mom, I'm the one that says, hey, that was pretty rough for you. Let's talk about this. Let's chunk this down. Let's build it up. And now she's like, yeah, well, it's okay. When I need to see it, I know it'll open up for me. And it does for her. But that comes from series of times when things weren't open and are open now. So, yeah, I don't know if I ever doubted whether I could. I doubted when was it going to happen. I was in that space of I just want it now. And I think parents who are looking for children and who are really looking and committing to taking on children of other mothers, um, it's a service. You're so lucky. Doesn't matter what shape, size, functionality they are. You're lucky. You get the opportunity to serve them. You get the opportunity to be another mom. And I co-parent with all 14 moms because I have a set of twins. And all the moms are somehow connected to me. So we're kind of like this mother sisterhood. I take full responsibility, fiduciarily, education, everything I take. But these kids are sent home. These kids are allowed to have that connection with their biological family, of course. They just have more. They're just so lucky they get more family. You're on mute, darling.
I'm saying that I totally understand it because my mother was taken away when I was 6 years old, and I was part of a big joint family. So I've had multiple mothers. So
Mhm.
today, when you succeed, like this girl who's standing here, the little girl who was at 6, probably has been raised by at least 10 mothers. Like some weekend, my father's sister, my uncle's wife, and I just like had to listen to so many mothers, and then all of them have come inside with me. So I don't have a fixed personality. I have everybody from how I should dress up to what I should do, and somebody has a comment on how should I eat, and at that time it was confusing as a kid because I was just like, can't there just be one thing that I can just follow? And then of course I missed my mom because like if she was there, this was not be there. But as I grew up, and today when I'm standing up, and the ability to connect, the ability to understand, the ability to incorporate, the ability to smile with everybody comes from being handed over from one mother to, I'm like literally like a tribal child. And I felt like that when I launched the book as well. How the tribal kids, like they just get ready for a ceremony. I was exactly like that. On that day, suddenly these mothers from all over the world came, and because I was also honoring my own mother and her story, It was literally from they dressing me up to they putting me on the stage to what I should eat, and they're coming and feeding me. They're taking over my scripts. They're doing everything, and 40 of them had put me on stage to to do this. And that's that's the blessing these kids of more mothers that you're talking about when you say that have more mothers. And I am definitely a result of lots of mothers picking up. And it really takes courage to love somebody else's child and just say, let it,
Yeah.
you know, let's just take her. And always said that I wouldn't be here if I didn't have so many mothers. If I was only one mother, I would probably be doing something totally different. Only because I have so many mothers and I know their stories and I've lived with them, their problems. Every mother had a unique issue. Today I'm standing up for 100, maybe thousands in the future. I don't know how much, what's happening. I keep hearing people messaging me all the time. So, Francis, let's our second question. And do we have time? Because I get carried away. I start like in with both Vimla and Francis. It makes my heart really full of so much love when I see you guys really pouring in this love and just smiling and doing things. So, Francis,
We do, Shikha. We have time, so please go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, we have. And to Francis, what's your vision for Jaden? What's the vision? Where is, like, as a mom, what's your vision? What do you want to achieve with Jaden 5, 10 years from now?
My biggest thing is the opportunities I want him to have. I'm very protective of him, so I have to fight that a lot. But I want to expose him to so many different things because I see with children in special education, especially here in the United States, it's like they give them the same type of jobs, you know. And I want Jaden to get to choose, not be told. I remember one day I was walking by his door and I heard him say action. And he had taken his little action figures and was propping them up and taking pictures of them like it was a movie. So I get, because our cameras were, our phones and stuff were linked, I get all of these pictures of these scenes he set up. And I'm like, he could be a photographer one day. I just want him to have the opportunities to do what he wants to do. He's in martial arts. He's doing other things. I just want to make sure that I'm not limiting him so that, and I would really love for him to live on his own, but if he's got a basement apartment with me, I'm fine with that. But that's probably more for me than him. But yeah, I just want him to have the same opportunities that anyone else would have. They may not look the same, but an opportunity is an opportunity.
Right. And again, during the launch, we had special needs children opening up the stage during our launch, dancing. And that was the first time they were performing in front of an audience. They had never left. And Mrs. Masrat, who heads this special needs school, we both looked at each other because for the first time the music stopped. And with them, they can just suddenly, unpredictable situation. Already they were in a new place for the first time on a stage, and they looked at us and we both just froze that they're just going to now probably not be able to be comfortably doing the dance. They went back, they said start again, and I just looked at it and we had tears in our eyes looking at that, and then they started again. And then what happened to that, why am I saying telling the story with your vision is because after 2 months I was called to the stage. Sweetie, I can't take a call. Maybe I can't take a call. I cannot talk to you.
But it's important. It's important.
It's not so important.
It's very.
Okay, I have to just take.
Oh, this is family life, isn't it?
I was going to say mom life.
That's right. And it's wonderful. And I think that especially now after the pandemic, we're flexible enough to say,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Yeah.
take care of your kids. That comes first. Absolutely.
Oh yes, yeah, but I knew it was not important. It was just my just like
Of course.
yeah. So anyway, what happened after 2 months was I was called to a show, and single-handedly the whole show they got so much confidence that they performed a comedy show on stage, and I watched that for 1.5 hours, and I was laughing, and I couldn't even find this much difference with just that one stage performance given to them in front of the world on that day. They performed a whole 2 hour play. All of them, 100% participation of the whole school, and not one glitch, just in 2 months. So the reason I'm telling this story is what Francis' vision is. It's possible. They need the love and connection little more than other kids. That's it. They don't need any more all the extra things that we keep adding onto it. They're just so gorgeous in their own way, and we should encourage them to open up more professions. And I'm telling you, I was laughing. I don't laugh so easily. It takes very a lot of time for me to laugh. But that show, I was laughing, and I went on stage, and Mrs. Mustard called me, and I was like, I'm not laughing because you're special needs school, and oh wow, I need to do it. It was genuinely funny. They were so funny in a comedy show that they were doing. I just had such a great time. So yes, more professions. Photographer. Jaden wants to be a photographer. I'll help him to become a photographer. That's going to, like, he definitely has an aunt somewhere in India. Even virtually, if I have to take his pictures and give some comments, I'm there to make him a photographer. That's a promise. So Bimla, let's go and see what's been the vision. Where are the kids now? Where have they reached? Um,
Oh, all different heights, all different. They all have their own
yeah,
paths.
we'll take the report of all 15. What's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
now?
What I'll do is I'll tell you that I have bigger challenges with my children who um, may not have a physical challenge. Doesn't matter whether they have something that may need a medical requirement or something like that. Children are tough.
Yeah.
They will beat you up, people. It doesn't matter. And I've been fortunate enough that, Divya, who's in a wheelchair, she got stuck for a while. I had another child who just decided, she didn't want to finish. She school was not her thing. So she went off and is now a real estate mogul. She works for some real estate company. She's been to Dubai. She travels, and right now her goal is to reach these sales targets. And she's 25 years old, and I'm like, why are you speaking sales targets? You were 5. And she came just because her mom couldn't afford to keep her. I mean, there was just not enough money for her to be educated. So she came to me. I have so like 4 of my children work in corporate education, and one of my daughters works with me. She's my partner in my company. She owns 10% of my company, and she keeps me out of jail, so she does all my taxes and my accounts. Without her, you would be speaking to me from prison somewhere. So it's a good thing she's around. I also have, I have a 12-year-old, and we shifted to get him into the best school, and the kids were his older brothers and sisters like, put him in the best school we can get, and they were willing to say, yeah, go leave Chennai. Right now we live in Bangalore just for the school, because the school is so amazing, and the school has transformed him and me. We work together, we partner together, and so I have my second son, who's my oldest son, is a chef at the Four Seasons in Bangalore. I have a daughter who's just going to start her job as a front desk manager at a resort called Angsana, outskirts of Bangalore. I have two teachers, and they're just all over whatever they wanted to do, they got to do. And this is just the beginning. This is what they're doing now. In 10 years, I don't know. Divya works for the British Stock Exchange, so she's the Chandler of our family. I don't know if you guys watch Friends. Nobody knows exactly what she does. We just say, yeah, Chandler, what do you do? I'm a systems analyst. It doesn't make any sense. She uses a lot of acronyms in her work, and she was home during the pandemic with me for parts of it. And I kept telling her, I said, it doesn't sound like you. You sound so different at work, so it's good.
Yeah.
And so they're all over, and each one of them have clearly exceeded their family's expectation, their expectations of themselves. And it's not because of anything other than they found their inner potential. And I
Right.
think that's what our parents did for us, which is why we're here on Zoom in all these different wonderful boxes. we're here because of our parents and
Right.
what they had to sacrifice for us. So the
Right.
same way, this is a service, this is a dedication. And again, I shout out to those moms, potential moms, future moms. You know, it doesn't take courage, it takes love. Love
Yeah.
takes courage. I will admit to that.
Yeah.
But once you step in, like Francis said, and you love, nothing will stop you from giving that child everything that child needs.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Like, you know everything about, and we are on Vidphone Show. Zoom is Vidphone's competitor, so no saying Zoom here. We say
Oh,
can
sorry.
we because
Sorry.
if we are taking
Big phone.
if we have to take the bite for the Instagram of this thing, we cannot take that bite now because it says Zoom. Anyway, I'm joking because I'm with Vidphone Show supporting them on their platform. I just like I can of course go and talk, and I just love the long list. But more than that, I just love the faces, the way your faces light up talking about them, and both of you just doing such great work because this is great work. This is great work, and showing up uh, and to tell the story with a lot of courage is I feel even greater work because stories go a long way. You know. In spite of me interviewing so many moms, I remember their stories. So I can pull them out. The minute there's topic, I'm like, that's the mom and that's the mom. Not because of the long list of bio. I've never read anybody's bio. Sometimes I even forget what they're doing. I'd actually forgotten you're an NLP coach. I only remember you as a mom of 15 kids. And now suddenly when you say, oh yeah, I said she's a coach, I totally. But because stories go a very long way, they will go to my next generation. My kids will hear it when they'll put the book or they'll see mother's YouTube channel and they will orbit phone show, whatever somebody will see. They know that I was all about stories. So fabulous living stories. Really honor both of you. I will hand it over to Ayushri because I can talk a lot too. Love you guys and Ayushri. They're yours, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much, Shikha. Thank you so much, Francis and Vimla, for beautifully sharing your stories. Like Shikha said, that's why we are really doing this so that we can get your stories to the world, so that we can really inspire any mom who's out there today. Each thing that you shared from your journey is so crucial because that would make that mom feel that she can do it too. So that's our win basically. That's why we are doing this. And so I have a last question for both of you, because and this last question is all the more important as we end, before we exit, because these are tips and tricks that I want from both of you on your about your you can take them from your mom journey specifically. I won't say any specifically to anything, but you can keep it general. But as a mom, what would be your 2 or 3 tips and tricks for other moms, potential moms, already people who are other mothers, like in general, these. And please, I would just request to keep it a little short, because this we want to create into smaller reels and share it across. We want to be share like it's easier for us if it's shorter, and it just helps reach a lot more moms out there.
Hmm.
So whoever, Vimla, would you like to start, or
Sure.
Francis? Yes, please go
Francis,
ahead.
go for it.
Excuse me. I was going to say that. Have you ever heard the saying "ignorance is bliss"? I think sometimes we try to know so much about everything before we go forward. I'm glad that I didn't know everything, because the things that have come up after the fact, I've survived it. We survived it. We have a circle of friends and family. And this is what I say, that whole thing about blood being thicker than water. Ugh, I don't like that saying, because my family is there for me, but my friends are there for me too. I remember the day I got a phone call saying from his pediatrician telling me all the doctor's appointments he missed and what I had to make up. I remember the parking lot I pulled over into, and I cried. And then I called a friend, and they said to me, "We've got this with you. Just let me know. Let us know what you can do." So I think getting caught up on what you don't know is don't do that. knowing that you can make it through. Because in life, you don't know when you're born, you don't know your dad, your mom, their personalities. You learn that as you grow. We have that same opportunity with these children that we adopt. They don't know us, we don't know them. We grow together. And it's my sister says all the time, some other woman had my child. And she did. And yeah, we are a perfect pair. Um, and I wouldn't change anything because he brings joy into my life. And
Thank you so much, Francis. Wonderfully summed up. I think you wonderfully summed those up, and I'm sure your story would inspire so many out there. Thank you so much for opening your heart out on this show and sharing your story with us. Over to you, Vimla, for your tips.
Yeah, I would say my tips real quick. 3 L's. There's many, but 3 L's. Learn, laugh, and love. Learn from your children. They are your best teachers. They will tell you what you need to do next. They will tell you if it's too much, too little. Learn from your children. Laugh at yourself, man. Seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. If you can learn to laugh at yourself and how ridiculous you are when you're yelling at your child saying, told you 100 times, laugh at yourself because you're telling somebody something 100 times, something's wrong with you, not them. And the last thing is love. Love yourself first. Learn to be compassionate to yourself. And then I will tell you the love will exude to everybody, every nook and corner of this world. And your children will feel that so deeply when you learn to love yourself. They will learn to love themselves. You'll be a really great role model. So, 3 L's: learn, love, and laugh at yourself.
Wonderful, Vimlan. Thank you so much for keeping it so short. I think that's the most valuable and the shortest one we got from both of you, but lovely. I think we would be able to make wonderful reels out of this. Shika and I keep telling everyone we want to make this reels because it's just easier to, share it across because our aim is really to share it on and on this thing. So, Shika, we still anything last, Shika, you want to share, before we are a little ahead of time, Shikha, today for
Ah,
a for a
I'm,
change.
I'm getting. Usually,
Yeah, we are getting better, I think, with the time management thing. But we don't mind because it's also beautiful stories that are being shared. So a little up and down is all.
I just want to say that I think both of them are like lighthouses, and right now they are attracting so much. I keep telling Frances. Frances doesn't believe me. She doesn't believe that she's a lighthouse. I just keep telling her she's so amazing. Look at her tips. Look at Wimla, and I just love Wimla's. The fact that she's very balanced in her head about, like, it's about both sides, I'm a little off balance. It's all about my children all the time. So when I listen to Wimla, I'm just like, I was laughing because I was like, yeah, absolutely. If you say the same thing 100 times, you're the one who's a bigger fool than they are trying to hurt you in any way. So laughing at ourselves and loving ourselves is so important. Easier said than done when you're in that situation. And I remember Vimla's story about something in a festival when she lost her cool, and she was just so upset. Let's hear that story before we wrap up because it's
Oh, the
it's so
infamous fruit
relatable.
salad.
It's a relatable story because it happens all the time. And before you tell your story, let me tell a story. When my little one came and cut my hair from back, like I was sitting, he took his scissors, and my younger one comes and just cuts my hair, and I'm just so angry. At that time, my first reaction was screaming his because I love his name. And then because of all the self work I've done, I'm like, calm down. He will get scared. He's just cut your hair. But I became from a mom to Shika. It happens. You just suddenly switch back to who you originally were, and no more a mom or a guy, guide or a whatever you are to them. And then my father, who's very patient, also became my father for a change. Otherwise, he's always the grandfather of theirs, and he's always on their side. And he's like, I'm not talking to you. You did this to my daughter. And I'm like, Dad, it's okay. It's just like, it's all right. We'll calm him down. And he said, I just was trying to be a barber. So I'm like, yeah, but, so it was standing like that. The hair was like that. And at that time, they become funny stories now. But everywhere I was going in the show, my hair was standing, and no matter what I did with the oil or whatever, they were just not sitting. I had to just get over. And thanks to the self-portrait workshop that I do, I was just like, show up even half bald, it's okay, you're a mom and you can show up like that. So let's talk about your story of losing. So I'm saying it happens in spite of all the self-work. You just lose your temper because you
Well,
don't know what's coming.
yeah, we're human, so we're gonna lose our cool. It's okay to lose your cool. It's what you do after you lose your cool that's important. So my
Yeah.
story is very silly again, but it was during a function we were celebrating. I think it was Ganesh Chaturthi, which is Ganesha's birthday. And I woke up really early, 5 o'clock, started cooking and all. When we keep it very separate, so anything that had to go in the puja, we didn't want anybody to touch, and we wanted to keep it separate. And I was cutting fruit for what we call panchamritam, which is part of the abhishek. So it's part of the celebration, and it's very auspicious. So I was cutting the fruit very, very small, and I was kind of focusing. Kids slowly, one by one, are waking up, and my older kids are around me helping. And two, they were like 10, maybe 10, 12, 13 years old. They were running around, and I said, guys, go in the kitchen and eat, take a plate and have, your breakfast in the kitchen. And here they are. Now it became no plates. Food is all over. There's breadcrumbs. There's little pieces of this, that, and the other thing on the floor. And I'm like, guys, get a plate. Guys, get a plate. And then I finally lost it. And I took, okay, you don't want a plate? I took the entire bowl of fruit salad. By this time, it was all together, dumped it on my table, and said, fine, nobody will eat on a plate today. You guys want to eat like animals? Be animals. And I left in a huff and a puff, and I went upstairs to my room, and I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Called my sister, and she's like, yeah, you're human. This is what we do as humans. And she goes, what are you going to do when you go down? I said, I don't even want to go down. I want to crawl off my balcony and run away. She's like, all right, you have to go down. So I decided to go down. And by the time I went down, which was only about 5 minutes, everything was cleaned up. Kids were like, they just kind of looked at me, and I looked at them. And then my oldest at that time was Divya. She looked at me, I looked at her, and we just laughed. And we laughed and we laughed and we laughed. And I'm like, yeah, mom lost it. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry I lost it. And no, it wasn't my intention to lose it, but I'm really sorry. And the kids were like, no, we should have gotten a plate. I'm like, yeah, let's just hug it out and we're done. But anytime we get close to losing our cool, said, is this going to be a fruit salad moment? And it's become a thing in our family. Are you sure? And we all like, it's going to be, let's just kind of step back. It's going to be a fruit. Mom's going to blow like the fruit salad. And then we laugh. So it's kind
You
of
can
nice
laugh. I don't know how you laughed. I mean, somebody like
because it's ridiculous.
crying and putting in the corner and saying, my goodness, how can I do this to these poor little souls? How can I say these words to them?
Oh, I
And I
was so
keep talking about
furious.
my husband for like next 20 weeks or something, and he will just like, get over it. I'm just like, I must have
Really?
done this, I would have done this, I must have spoiled their whole future
Oh,
by saying what I'm saying. And I'm just like,
my thing for that is they're gonna go to therapy anyway. Give them a reason. They're gonna go. See, you do laugh. See?
no, I laugh now. But I will laugh more after this interview for sure. But it'll take a lot of practice. I'm
But the
really,
next time you think, "Oh my God, did I ruin my children?" You probably think, "Yeah, I probably already did." So now it's just more
yeah.
stories for the therapist to work on. That's fine. We all need therapists. We're all gonna have stories to tell about our parents, and it's okay. That's part of being human. If we make it, oh, we have to be this perfect parent, our children are going to think they have to be perfect children. And where does it stop? And so if you can say, yeah, mom blew it, it's all right. Now you're going to blow it too, but that's all right. We're going to figure
There's
it
so many layers to this. Raising the next
out.
generation, my goodness. Like just yesterday, my older one is like, I think you just scared me a lot. I was like, did I? Because I was just going on and about some violent, stuff he was watching, and I think internally I had an intention to scare him. I'm like, get scared right now because this is very violent stuff. He was watching really violent stuff, and I was like, before it gets into your head, let me scare him. It was my attention, and I'm confessing it. I'm like, do that, don't do that. And then I was scaring him, and I'm like, oh God, I scared him. So that just to remove his visual, then I started reading him a lot of books about Akbar and Birbal, which is our stories. And then he just shifted. I was like, so what are you sleeping with, Akbar Birbal or what I told you? He's like, Akbar Birbal. I'm like, thank God. So that's how you keep balancing it out, only if you've done the self work. But otherwise, I must say that we do a very big mistake. We just tell them, go to your room now. This is what it is, and shut the door, and they sleep with all the confusion. Why it happened? Why did mom say that? What are the visuals? What it is? And then they wake up already dreaming about it the whole night, and that has programmed their whole mind to something we don't want them to do, for definitely going into that direction. So yeah, so I am learning still. I've done a lot of self work around my children, but yeah, like the last one before I leave is also from yesterday. He says, 10 o'clock, mom loses it. It's going to be 10 p.m. So I'm like, I just used to say that I'll lose it if you don't sleep now. And I don't scream at them. Even that is considered like a threat. So every time correcting your language, correcting your way of saying, and that's why I'm saying I can't laugh at me, because I've just done too much self work. And it's just like constantly being hard on your own self, saying that, oh, you just said something bad. So I love what you said. It's going to be a great reel about laughing at yourself. I think that's an important one. Thank you. I think we completed the 10 extra minutes I could have spoken, because
Yes.
so thank you so much for showing up, and thank you, Ayushri, for being such a beautiful host and always patiently listening to all our stories and smiling and laughing, and you know just beautiful to have you around. So I'll go and back to what was important. There was something very important I had to attend to. There's some fights. I'll go attend to that.
Thank you so much, Shikha, Francis, and Vimla. It's been lovely.
Guys.
It's been lovely hearing you guys. The recording would be available on the same link once we exit. So please feel free to share it across. Like I have mentioned already, we would be sharing a lot of clips. Smaller ones. Please do feel free to share those also. That's the goal is to take it to a lot more mums, and we look forward to having you guys on our subsequent shows too. And have a great evening.
Yeah, and just
Thank you,
before we
Francis.
wrap up, Ayushri, and just adding this, because I think we have to start mentioning. I'm more active on Facebook. There is a
Yes,
one page on Facebook. You can
yes,
share directly the replay for this from there.
yes,
There will be some people who are active on LinkedIn, people who are active on Instagram, wherever you are.
yes,
It's all
yes,
over. Just
yes,
pull it out from their page, official page, like their page, share their page, and
yes,
it'll be there right there. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.